5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, Vietnam. I don't know. I've always wanted to say that, Mike. Have you ever wanted to say good morning, Vietnam? Why don't you give it a shot? Say good morning, Vietnam.
All right. Good morning, Vietnam.
Welcome to In Your Face Radio. My name is Frank.
And my name is Mike.
You know, Mike, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, In Your Face Radio, I guess it's IYFR. Kind of sounds like ISIS.
It does. What are you referring to?
I don't know, but I don't think we should be a terrorist organization. So I don't know. You know, you want to keep the In Your Face Radio? You want to change it?
I like it. I like it a lot, actually, Frank.
Well, I was thinking maybe the Three Amigos, but there's only two of us. So I don't know. All right. In Your Face Radio. Welcome to In Your Face Radio. We are going to do a completely revolutionary thing, kind of like when the Constitution was made, one of these magical experiments. My name is Frank, but my internet dating service name is Mateo. What's your internet dating name, Mike?
Julius.
Julius. I just want to say that I'm real excited today to talk about things, and we have to really talk about what the monkey in the room is. And that is it really true that all of America is Republican now?
Oh, I don't know. First of all, I didn't know there was a monkey in the room.
Well, how could it not be? It used to be Arkansas, they were Republican, and, certain states were Republican. Now it's like Massachusetts, like all of America is Republican.
It seems that way.
So tell me something, Mike. Why do you think, or Julius, why do you think that this happened with this election? Why do you think that the entire country voted Republican?
Easy. They had enough of Obama.
You think? You think that was the reason?
I think so.
Well, listen, something must have been true here because it's like this election was actually really close, when you think about it. People were winning with 3% margins, 2% margins. If you look at some of these election results, like Massachusetts was 48-47, Wisconsin 53-46, Colorado was like 47.9, 47.6. But every time that there was a flip in the room, every time that something was supposed to go one way or the other, the Republicans won every time. So what do you think that really means, that pattern, that every time there was a chance of it going one way or the other, the Republicans won?
Again, I just have to attribute it to they wanted to keep the Senate, Republican, so that way Obama just couldn't get anything passed and put through. That's what I think.
Well, it's just not the Senate, though. Think about it. Almost every governor race is now won the Republican. Except for Corbett,
True.
Think about Corbett, What a numbnut he must be thinking he is. He's an incumbent Republican, right?
True.
He's an incumbent Republican, and he lost in the largest landslide of the Republican Party. Like, literally goes back to World War II when they held this many seats, had this many governorships. And you think what do you think Corbett's saying to himself this morning when he shaved? He's waking up in the morning, he's shaving. What do you think he's thinking?
He was saying, my wife was really drunk during my concession speech.
Well, you might be right. You might be right. But I'm going to say that, I don't know. Corbett, how terrible must he have been as a governor to lose with the largest landslide of Republicans?
That was pretty bad.
All right. So I think that it's only fair for us to say that the biggest loser has to be Corbett, Governor Corbett.
I agree. But why do you think, though, Frank, that the Republicans, pretty much won the whole entire election?
Listen, it's like you can go back 7 years from now and, at that time, the Democrats had 257 seats in the House. They had the control of the House and the Senate. Obama just got elected and was the president. And basically, they had complete control. So today, now it's the reverse. There's 250 plus Republicans in power. They have both seats of power right now. And with Christie and a couple good candidates, they might be able to win the White House. But the reasons why I think this happened, no one really would agree with me. Because I think when you look at Fox News, right, they have their opinions, and
Sure.
Their opinions are really simple.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you think Fox News thinks is why Obama won? Or not Obama won. I'm sorry. Why do you think the Republicans won?
Fox? Well, Fox is pretty much a primarily Republican news channel. So I don't know. I'm not sure really why they would think he won.
You know what? It's like, I don't know about you, but when I was like 6 years old, the funniest word in the world was duty. Duty, right? I swear to God,
Sure.
if you came in the room and you were like, yo, Frankie, duty, I'd be like, laughing all the time. To me, it's now Fox News. Every time I hear it, I just crack up. But I love watching Fox News. As a matter of fact, I think everybody should listen and watch Fox News.
No, I agree.
All right, so let's take a look at why Fox, the experts, the panels, all of their high esteemed people, why they think the Republican Party won this pattern of close elections, right? Because we know there are two facts that we know that are undisputed. Corbett sucked, right? And the Republicans won every contested pattern. So there's something happening across the country, right?
Yeah.
So this is what Fox News is saying. First of all, Hillary's a loser, right?
Well, yeah.
Anyone who took a picture with Hillary, anyone that Hillary supported, they lost. And so obviously this is all about Hillary Clinton,
Yeah.
Hope restored. Hope restored.
Sure.
We were in a lost, unknown state for the last 7 years, and the Republican Party now sees hope restored. And of course, the vindication of the Republican principles. Abortion rights and all this other stuff. Now, obviously, the rest of the public is making a statement.
Sure.
All right. Now, to me, when they sit there and talk about voters speaking and everything else, I don't understand it, because when you think about it, Obama won re-election 18 months ago, and he won huge. So why? Why do you think Obama 18 months ago wins with this huge margin, and now nobody wants to vote Democrat?
I just think they thought that Obama was going to bring hope. I mean, he was the great black hope, and I just really think that he didn't bring anything really to the table. I mean, look at our healthcare's just in the toilet. There's nothing. I mean, have you seen anything positive that he's done?
All right. So you feel it's about Obama, right? That Obama was the main factor that caused this election to go the opposite way. It was all about negative. It was more people about voting against Obama than voting for, or maybe they are voting against Obama and voting for Republican principles. But you feel Obama was the main issue.
Well, I think, obviously Obama's can't get reelected, but I think they see it as they want to keep the Senate and everybody else Republican right now. So that if Hillary does, by any chance, and I pray to God gets elected, they'll have at least some control.
Really, out of all the things in this world you have to pray for God for, your family, your kids, your job, everything else, you pray to God about Hillary Clinton not being reelected?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't realize you were so anti-Clinton.
I like Bill. I don't like Hillary.
Oh, you like Bill? You don't like Hillary?
Bill. I love Bill.
You love Bill?
Yeah.
All right. Well, so what is it? Is this just a thing against females? You have a gender issue? You don't think they can be in the White House?
No.
And I'm telling you, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that somehow, the menstrual cycles are going to play a role. I disagree with this. I feel this is very discriminatory conduct.
Well, did you hear those tapes, though? Did you hear those tapes that they found with Hillary?
No, there's always tapes.
Yeah.
Shit. What are the tapes about?
There was a lot of her just making really condescending comments about public officials, different things that, I'd have to go back and do a little more research, but...
So what you're saying is you're basing your opinion on facts, not personal prejudice.
Yes, exactly.
Damn it. Okay. All right. Well, it just proves that, that things are still, you have very good ethics. That's what it's all about. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Mateo, though, I haven't heard your reason why you think Republicans.
Well, look, it really comes down to this. I think it is about Obama, but not the way it's being projected. Okay. I don't think it's about Obama's policies and his principles, because like I said, he was overwhelmingly reelected not that long ago.
True.
So this is what I think it's all about. It's all about demographics,
Okay.
Demographics. All about the song, the demographics. What's that song? It's all about demographics.
Sure.
All right. So what I wanted to do, and I don't want to bring us down into Myron and technicalities, but let's look at the actual numbers between 2012 and 2014 so we can compare what was the difference between Obama winning this massive reelection and everybody that seems to say Obama voting against him. Okay. All right, and this is what it comes down to. If we look at the demographics, it's actually fascinating. For 2014, all right, 75% of the people that just voted were white.
Okay.
All right. Compared to 2012, 72% were white.
Okay.
All right. What that means is there was a 3% difference, and a lot of these elections only won by 2 or 3 or 4%. So basically, when there was more white people voting, they're voting Republican. All right. Second thing is 12% of the black population voted in 2014 compared to 2012, 13%. So that's another percent. So now we have between the white vote and the African-American vote, there's 4+ percentage points that would have went to the Democrats, and that would have swung probably 80% of these races.
Yeah.
All right. Then we look at the Latino vote. 8% in 2014 voted. In 2012, 10% voted. Okay. So between that's another 2 percentage points. So if all that happens is less whites vote, more blacks and more Latinos vote, then the Democrats get 6 percentage points, and they win 80% of these flips.
Wow.
All right. So when we look at the demographics by race, all right, there is a significance there. So let's look at by age.
Okay.
Look at Democrats by the Democrat Republican issues by age. By age, if we go to 2014, what we know is people between the ages of 18 and 29, all right, 13% of those people voted. So 13% voted this year between 18 and 29. We look at the same percentage from 2012, 19% voted.
Wow.
That's a swing of 6%. So between age and gender, 12% swing. That would take almost every one of these governor races and throw that towards the Democrats.
Yeah.
Now, same thing. We look at ages between 30 and 44, 22% voted in 2014 compared to 27% in 2012. And then, of course, between the age bracket of 45 and 64, 43% voted Republican this time around, where last time only 38% voted in that age bracket in 2012. That's a difference of 5. So basically, without getting into more numbers, I have all the numbers here, but if young people come out, if Latinos vote and the African Americans vote, they win. They win because the margin of swing here is only 3, 6, 7%. And what I've just showed you gives you a 12% swing here. Plus, it changes the Republicans where they're losing 11%. So, I mean, in either way, whether it's by age or by gender or by ethnicity, that's a difference. And what Obama did is he was able to motivate the higher percentage of young people to come out, which gave him those extra couple percentages. Sure. He was able to motivate the women to come out. They gave him the extra percentages. And more importantly is he was able to motivate the Latino and the other ethnic groups. And that gave him probably a 10 to 11 to 12% swing.
Right.
All right. And in an election like this, where it's so close, That's why I love it when I listen to like the news channels today. And they're like, oh, it's a mandate and the world has changed and everyone's going to be Republican. It's like, wait a minute. It's like these election results are so incredibly close. Iowa, 52-44. Connecticut, 50-49. Florida, 48-47. Illinois, 51-46. These are all governor races,
right.
So in Colorado, it's less than a percentage point almost. So, the thing here is it's demographics.
Right.
And if Hillary Clinton can pull these demographics out, she wins.
Okay, but there you go. That's a perfectly valid point. But why wasn't Obama able to pull these demographics out?
Great question, Mike. This is why I love you, because you're so damn smart. All right? The Democratic Party took a really stupid approach by saying they want to get as far away from Obama as possible, right? So what they did is Obama did almost nothing in this election cycle because nobody wanted him to do anything. And I don't think he really wanted to do much either. But the point is everyone was distancing themselves from Obama. And what they were doing is they were distancing themselves from that 3, 5, or 8% that they need to win. To win. All right. Now, I know why they did it. They're like, oh, my God, if I go and I embrace Obama on healthcare, I embrace Obama on other issues, it's going to piss off a lot of people in my district. But what they don't realize is that overall, there's like 45% on each side that's already committed to what they're going to vote for.
Yeah,
so it doesn't matter if you piss off 45% of the electorate in your district. They're not voting for you anyhow because they are Republicans, okay?
Right.
And guess what? Your Democratic people aren't going to be like, I hate the fact you like Obama on this issue, because they're not going to vote Republican just because they disagree with you on one or two issues.
Sure.
So the problem that the Democratic Party did was that they focused too much on not pissing off their base, but their base ain't going nowhere. Mm-hmm. They should have focused more on making sure that they brought in that little margin in between, the Latino vote, the gender vote, the young people vote. If they would have done that, I think we'd see a much different country.
Mm-hmm.
But, go ahead.
No, well, so then what you're saying is these people, the Democrats, if they would have just sided a little more with Obama, then they would have been able to pull that extra percentage.
Now, they should have put their arms around Obama and hugged him, and they should have made sure he was in that district talking to college campuses and moving out. They needed to pull in what I call the Obama coalition. Actually, that's CNN calls it that, but they needed that. They needed those Obama votes. That's why Obama won. Mm-hmm. All right, so if Obama could have come into those communities and they would have hugged them and embraced them and loved them, and he would have done what he does, maybe they could have gotten the young people out to vote more. Maybe they could have gotten the demographics that work in their favor. And it wouldn't have been 10% instead of 13% of Latino vote, or would have been more young people, where instead of like 12% versus 19%. Mm-hmm. So that was the problem. I think that them running from Obama, and you think they would have learned from Al Gore, right? He ran from Clinton, and how did that get him?
Right.
You can't escape who you are.
No, this is true. I just wonder, though, if they did do that and they pulled in Obama, if the people, though, would have had a different mindset at this time, just because of what's been going on, because of the healthcare being disarray, would have they seen Obama as actually a disadvantage?
I mean, that's what they saw. But the problem is, again, their base is going nowhere. The Democrat, 45%er Democrat, and they're going nowhere. Right. It's all about the nuances. It's like being a great cook. It's all about knowing how to season. Mm-hmm. Now the seasoning is a small percentage of maybe cutting the meat up, boiling the water, cooking the things up, doing all kinds of stuff, cutting everything. But let's be honest, you screw up the seasoning, it's going to suck.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Now, with that being said, I don't want to create the illusion that every election was this close. I mean, there's a lot of congressional and Senate elections where there were like 62% of the population voting for a particular senator. And again, you have to understand, you can't get away from local issues. So if someone is a great politician in their local community, they go to every church to give meetings, and they're always talking to everyone. They have a great local group that's always supporting the community. They've done great things, bringing money in the community. They're going to get those benefits, and this is where it's not always demographics. Mm-hmm. All right. It's not always demographics. And Corbett, our numbnut of the year, is a great example of that. Yeah, mm-hmm. Corbett did a crappy job connecting to the electorate and letting people know. He sat up there in Harrisburg all the time talking from his pulpit, mm-hmm. And maybe he looked great in a tie, but to be honest with you, he was an empty suit, and his lieutenant governor too, and the fact that these guys lost as Republican incumbents in the largest wave shows you that you can never escape that being a great politician in the sense of working for your local community, being out there, not being in some ivy tower where no one can reach you, shaking hands and knowing people, and just being politician's a great service, mm-hmm. that can help you win.
Right.
And I think today people just think, if I get $20 million in ads, maybe I don't have to do all that stuff. I'm just going to not really get out there anymore. How many politicians walk the street, knock on doors, and actually shake hands nowadays face to face? Mm-hmm. So the second lesson to be learned is, if you work your ass off and you're a great politician, whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, but you service your community, you can still do it.
No, that's true. Hey, let me get your opinion on this too. Now that the election was primarily, overwhelmingly Republican, do you think that's going to help Christie at all when he runs for president?
Listen, I love Christie. My problem is there's a problem there. All right. I mean, the whole thing with the Bridgegate, the thing that bothered me with that was, this is not one politician screwing over another politician. This is somebody screwing over people going to work. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it's like, and the fact that all of his top people were involved. I mean, I'm not saying Christie actually ordered it, but I think he has a I think he has a management style that sort of, he says something that he's upset about, and then his people were like, "We'll fix it."
Mm-hmm.
And he was really angry at that mayor because he didn't get an endorsement from that mayor. He was probably bitching about it, that this mayor deserves to have something bad happen to him. And then his henchmen went out there and did this.
Right.
And the fact that he had that kind of environment in his management team where they would go out, let's assume we believe Christie, and they went out on their own. And this was some high level little side game that his top management people were doing. Then what does that say about him? Like, holy cow.
Right.
All right. So I believe that the buck stops here. I think he tried to do that by saying, look, I take responsibility for everything. But it really bothers me that that it even happened.
Right.
OK, if it wasn't ordered by him, then that means an independent, self-motivated group went out and did it under his watch.
Right.
Yeah. And that's a problem.
True.
You know what, though? I want to move gears a little bit and talk about like what the real issues are. So in your mind, Mike, what do you think are the real issues for this country right now?
The real issues?
Or Julius? By the way, Mike is a very good looking guy. I'm a fat, ugly guy, to be honest with you. But Mike, I mean, it's like, I'm telling you, ladies, if you can find out the website, look for Julius. I think you won't be disappointed.
Oh my goodness. I think I'm what's wrong with the world today. No, what I think right now, the big issues that we're going to be facing, education, healthcare, and really just foreign policy right now with what's going on over in the Middle East, over with ISIS. And I think they're going to be the big issues.
I mean, yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
See, the problem today in my mind is, even though we got all this media, we got 24-hour news outlets, we have, everything you can wish for with the internet and Google. It's amazing to me how everyone really just doesn't really talk about what needs to be talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about it.
So
First,
what is it? Yeah.
I'm going to tell you. Okay. It's not a tease.
All right.
I was not going to say tune in next week.
Same bat time, same bat chat.
Julius, you're so good. No, I mean, the thing is, let's look at oil prices, right? We're at a 4-year low.
Yeah.
Now, this is the question. Right now, I could be wrong with this number. I'm not sure if it's 250 million a month or 250 million a day, but what I believe, and I'm pretty sure I'm right on this, that right now we are spending 250 million less a day on oil right now because the prices have gone down so much. Mm-hmm. 250 million a day.
When you say we're spending less just because it's cheaper, you mean we're still buying the same amount, but
that's right.
Okay.
It's cheaper. So there's a differential there of 250 million a day of money that was going somewhere that's not going anywhere. Okay. Now, what that really proves to me is nothing's changed in the last 4 years. The supply, the demand, the fact of the matter is there is nothing that justifies oil prices being this high. Oil should be at like $70, $75 a barrel. It was for a long, long time. And then it went on this crazy artificial hike. And I know what everyone would always say, oh, there's a refinery that went down here, or the Chinese are expanding more and they're using more supply, or the oil fields in Iraq but all that is really garbage. The fact is that there's nothing that justifies supply and demand issues, because for all those arguments, there's counter arguments. Fuel efficiency's gone way over the roof in the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. Now today cars get 28, 30 miles a gallon without even blinking an eye.
True.
And then you even got these electric cars and these hybrids out there. You also have, even though you have developing markets, you have also developing competing products. Natural gas. America is the number one producer of natural gas, and that is a direct competitor to oil. There is no reason why oil should be more than $2.50 a gallon.
I know.
No reason. So the real question is, why?
Yeah.
Well, it's those idiots on the stock market, man. Just think about it. Think about like 10, 15 years ago, Their ultimate goal was to break 10,000 in volume.
Yeah.
Now they're up to 17,000. It's like they're having record years. Buying, walking around with their gazillion-dollar salaries. And how can this be? Because we know the economy has been slowly getting better, but the economy is sluggish at best. Mm-hmm. All right. All the major mortgage companies, Western Union, whatever, got together. There's a 73% down on mortgage loans, 73%, which means people just don't have the money to buy things, even though interest rates are at 3.5%. There are very few people that have good jobs. They have jobs, right, but these aren't like the good jobs, the career type jobs.
Sure.
But yet these jackasses on the stock market are having record successful years. Mm-hmm. All right. Why? Well, because all this bullshit. They must be laughing their asses to the bank every day. They're like, guess what? Oil's at $3.50. $3.50 a barrel. And guess what? In Philadelphia, it's almost $4.
Yeah.
These jackasses are paying it.
Right.
And we're trying. We're getting rid of the old cars and getting, we're buying Hyundais, getting 30 miles of the gallon. But the real fact of the matter is, this one issue of ridiculous, unrestricted greed from a small group of pinstripe assholes on Wall Street has been the single thing that's brought this economy to where we are. I mean, gas prices are so expensive. That makes transportation so expensive. That makes the food expensive because it costs so much for the food. That means the generators that run the stuff so we can do industry. This has artificially sucked the air out of the U.S. economy. And only because we're so strong, and we are strong, and only because we're so strong, and the American public has been sacrificing in so many different ways, working an extra job, doing everything else. But this is what every politician should be talking about. So now that the Republicans, if they want me to become one of their fans, they have power, right? They control both houses of Congress. Let's regulate, let's set price it, whatever we got to do. Let's get rid of this unrestricted greed, which is sucking this economy down.
Right. Well, let's start drilling in the United States. I mean, goodness sakes, we've got enough oil here that we never need to go over across seas to get the oil. I mean, explain that to me. Why do we still...
Listen, only about 15% of our total... A lot of people don't realize, but we are the largest producer of oil, too. We only have to depend on these rugrats, all around the world who hate us. You know, we only have to go to these countries in the Middle East because we fall short by about 15% or so of what our oil needs are. So, I mean, but you brought up a good point. I mean, the Keystone Pipeline, everything is done, everything is approved. It will create a huge benefit to the energy field. It will increase our production. It's the right thing to do. Yeah, but yet it still hasn't happened.
Right.
So I do agree with you. I don't know if we have to drill in Alaska, but I mean, in all honesty, I think the key is that the oil should go back to what supply and demand requires. And I think you can look back historically to see where that should be. $2 a gallon, $2.50 a gallon at best. Get the pipeline moving.
Yep.
Get these guys in Congress to govern.
Yes.
All right. And so
Amen.
Amen. Get these guys to govern. And that's the point. Are they going to get up there and instead of governing, they're going to get Obama?
Right.
Okay. Are they going to hold hearings about investigating and accuse him of criminal activity and all this other crap and go on every single day and have a different waste of time investigative hearings after another?
Right. Instead of just going out there and working, getting done what needs to get done, they're going to point fingers.
So I'm going to tell you, my view is, and the only advice that I'm going to give to the Republican Party, and by the way, I'm a Republican, but I am a moderate Republican. That means I don't care about what people do in their bedroom.
Right.
Okay? And I also don't care if two gay people want to hang out together all day.
Right.
All right? What I do care about is why are we spending $250 million more a day on oil when we don't have to?
Right.
Okay? And why are we not getting these pipelines going? Why are we not making jobs better? Why are we not reinvesting in this country. Our infrastructure, our bridges are falling apart.
Yeah.
I mean, the only place I can go to have beautiful roads is Houston, Texas. You know, I mean, they have gorgeous roads out there.
Of course.
You know, why do they have such good roads out there? Why do you think?
Oh, maybe because the oil's out there.
Yeah, those son of a bitches, right? A couple presidents came from out there.
Yeah.
Here we are in Philadelphia, one of the highest population areas in the East Coast, New York, Philadelphia, and we can't drive on our roads.
Oh, it's awful. I know. Every suit I own has coffee on it from spilling it, hitting one of those things.
So just to recap, and you can put your opinion on it, but I really think it comes down to this. These guys got to govern, and energy is number one, okay? Get the Keystone pipeline moving, do some basic things they can do, and make sure that we're never paying this extra $250 million again a day.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And then, get taxes too. I mean, people don't realize it, but taxes have gone up across the board. Local taxes, school taxes, little taxes that municipalities are putting on. You know, it's like people should not be having to lose 38% of their money to taxes.
Yeah, tell me about it.
All right, but taxes and jobs. So everything is really domestic, in my view.
True.
Now, I'm not saying that there aren't major issues with foreign policy, but what do you think the issues with foreign policy are?
Right now, I think that one is the aid, the tremendous amount of money that we spend in these other countries, helping out, you know, people that don't give a damn about us, that really, if they could, they'd piss all over us, honestly. And we still would throw money at them like it's nothing.
Don't you see those terrible pictures of the starving little kids in Ethiopia?
Yeah.
You don't want to give aid to them? Oh my God. I mean, when you turned around and you told me that it wasn't a discriminatory thing and you really support women, I was really thinking you're passionate. But, you know, now I'm wondering, God, you're going to let all those kids starve?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not going to let them starve, but I'm going to feed mine first.
Oh, okay. All right. I love that. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I mean, foreign aid is a drop in the bucket, but I think it goes a long way to like hearts and minds. But let's get back to hearts and minds. I mean, the fact is, ISIS, we had, a couple 100,000 troops in Iraq?
Yep.
We had 50,000 people wounded, seriously. You know, we lost several thousand people dead. We could barely drive through the country without being shot and everything else. It literally had to create green zones, and you had to, like, drive, 100 miles an hour going from one zone to the other because we had no control.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that 10,000 guys can go into a country, take over 2/3 of it, and get where they're going, I think they have the hearts and minds.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And but the real thing with ISIS is a lot of people don't know the real story behind that, and this is where I think foreign policy can't be ignored, because if we don't address it there, then we're going to end up addressing it here. And so I do think that I disagree with you there, Mike. I think we should give money in certain situations. I think we have to be involved in what's going on in other countries. But here's what happened with ISIS. This guy named Maliki, okay?
Okay.
We pulled out of Iraq,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And when we pulled out and we pulled our troops out, there was a vacuum there.
Okay.
So this guy named Maliki became the guy in charge in Iraq. And the goal was that he was supposed to have an inclusive government that included all the different ethnic groups.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So what did he do when he got power is he basically got rid of the ethnic groups that were not his ethnic groups.
Okay.
He fired all the generals. He kicked all the people out of the government. He was doing all these horrible things. And so what happened is the people that were being pushed out, they protested.
Okay.
Now, the Sunnis and the Shiites, without getting into a long speech, that's just like Protestants and in Christianity, you can be a Protestant or you can be a Baptist. That's all that is. But the point is that these two disagree as to how the Muslim faith should be done. And what was happening is Maliki was pushing out everyone that was in the other group.
Okay.
So these guys protested for an entire year peacefully. An entire year. They protested and they were begging Obama
Mm-hmm.
to get involved. They were begging Obama to get involved.
Okay.
So what happened is Maliki was getting frustrated that the protest was still going on. He wasn't going to change. You know, the United States really wasn't giving a shit, and we weren't really getting involved, even though we gave Maliki everything, our equipment, our support, our infrastructure. We should have been able to say to him, wait a minute, buddy. we still, you have to still listen to us at some degree.
Mm-hmm.
And so what Maliki did is he sent the Iraqi troops in, and they just shot up and killed a couple hundred people in the protest. Literally dead people holding signs. Okay, literally.
God. Peaceful protesters that have been doing this for how long did you say?
A year.
A year.
So what happened is, of course, no one in America knows about this. Barely makes the newspapers. Fox News doesn't really talk about it. Everyone's so busy talking about Kardashians. But
Yeah.
but this should have never happened. The second thing he did is there was a politician there that was in the parliament who represented this ethnic group, and Maliki kidnapped him and killed him. And he was their only guy.
Their only one.
Yeah, and so he would come out, and there would be huge crowds coming out to see him speak. So guess what? They said, fine, live by the sword, die by the sword. So what they did is they said, we're done peaceful protest now. Now we're going to start killing people. All right. And now it's kind of like strippers. Once they get in there and they make that easy money, they ain't going back making $7 an hour. Well, once these guys got the taste of violent killing, got them power, got their way, that's it. Hey, violence works.
Sure.
So for a full year, they had nothing. They were being beaten up. They were being ignored by the entire world, then violently massacred. And then they turn around and they say, fine, now we're going to start doing stuff. And they did. And what did they get? They go into Mosul. They got $450 or $420 million that was in the Mosul bank. They took over city after city. They went from 10,000 guys to God knows how many now. And what are they doing? They are massacring people like Nazi era literally, they went into Mosul, I think it was Mosul, and they had a couple hundred Iraqi soldiers that surrendered, all young guys, took them out there, and they killed them all.
Oh, my God.
They killed them all. So what does this really say? It says that Obama did a really crappy job with the foreign policy.
Mm-hmm.
And that we can't just say, don't give any money to anybody and don't pay attention to this stuff, America first, because now we got a problem. Now we have a super violent, super empowered, well-funded, using our equipment. They've seized all the American equipment. They're driving A1 tanks and setting up artillery. And for the first time, we have a radical group that is really the potential to be a country. They may take over these 3 or 4 countries.
Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, well, on a lighter note, though, did you see Kim Jong-un? Have you seen the photo bombing of Kim? It's probably one of the funniest things you'll see. He's in an orphanage, and there's these 2 stuffed animals that someone had set up behind him, and they're basically having sex, and it's all over the papers. He had no idea. He's posing, and there's these 2 animals banging behind him, stuffed animals.
I'm going to tell you, the one thing I do is, I don't want to give lectures, even though I just gave you one. Mike, every day I think to myself, why can't I just keep my mouth shut? You saw what happened before the show. My friend Anthony called. I had to get like sarcastic with him, open my big mouth. Now I sound like an asshole. So my question is this: what do I have to do to be a better person, Mike?
Just not be an asshole.
I know, but it happens naturally. I don't know what to do. Do I need counseling? Is there books you can recommend? Are there, don't be an asshole for dummies kind of things? All I know is every time I think to myself, why the heck did I insult Anthony that way?
Well, you know what? I think Anthony's a pretty reasonable guy. He'll forgive you. Just beg for forgiveness.
All right, Anthony, please, 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 please forgive me, Anthony. Please forgive me. All right, so the point here is this, Mike. I think that two stuffed animals having sex behind the Korean leader, I think that's funny as shit. All right, so listen, I don't know where we are on time, Mike.
We got to wrap it up.
All right, so this is what I like to say. First of all, today we had a very heavily political discussion, and it's like I think what we're going to do is, Mike, I definitely want you to bring the things to the table that you want to talk about. And the one thing I could tell you about Mike is I want to have a whole discussion about why his technology doesn't work every time we try to set it up. We actually would have had more time today, but every time the technology seems to be the problem.
It's karma.
It's karma.
It
All right.
is.
It's karma. Well,
I've done a
whatever.
lot of bad things.
Whatever. We're going to talk about ex-girlfriends. We're going to talk about our personal lives. You know, it's we're going to basically just be two real people. And the one thing I will tell you is we're always going to give you the truth, and we're always going to give you our opinion.
Absolutely.
So in summary, Mike, I'm going to give my summary of what I've got out of this today. Corbett sucks. We know that. Sure. The Republican Party, maybe the world is not Republican. Maybe the entire United States is not Republican. It's just you young people and you women and you Latinos, get out and vote the next time, okay? Maybe if you get out there, the Democrats can win a seat or two. You know, and of course, what we've learned is that I'm all knowing. You know, it's amazing how knowing I am. I don't know what it is. God bless me with my brain. And it's like I sit there all the time looking at myself in the mirror thinking, God, so impressive.
I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. You know what I'm even more impressed about is that they will pay you $250 a day to sit in jail.
Oh, well, we didn't. That was an off-record thing. We'll talk about that next time. God bless America. And here's an incredibly racist joke. Enjoy. Peace out.
Allahu Akbar, Allah.